Hello, Ian here from Dark Elves Workshop. Welcome back to another video. This is the first in a series of looking at my Dark Elf Army that I did just using Marauder Miniatures. Okay, so this is the first in the series, so I'll be looking at some of my history into why I started collecting it, how many times I collected it, how many times I've painted it, because I've stripped and painted it I think twice now, some of the stuff anyway, so we'll go into some of that, and then towards the end of the video we'll be looking at the first unit, which is a block of 30 infantry warriors that came in a clan pack for the Dark Elves Regiment. So we'll be looking at some of the adverts that were in White Dwarf as well, and some painted pictures. So yeah, let's get on with it. Okay, so a wee bit of history. I started off in this crazy hobby back in the late 80s, early 90s, and I always remember I think I was 21, 22, and I was looking at, I used to do airfix kits as a kid, as many of us probably have done. I used to play with airfix 1/32 or 1/72 or 1/35. I don't know. Anyway, the big airfix and a little airfix. And Timpo. Do you remember Timpo? The Crusaders and the Romans and the Arabs. Brilliant stuff. Anyway, so I'd always been into it, and my dad was in the model railways and all that kind of stuff. So I picked up some kind of hobby vibe off of him. So anyway, in my 20s, I was doing airfix kits and I was getting bored. But I always remember I read The Hobbit again, because I read it in school, first or second year of high school, and I read it again, and I thought, yeah, it'd be cool if they did toy soldiers with, from Lord of the Rings. So I went out hunting. I went to Cardiff, which is, I don't know, about an hour away from me now, and I found this little hobby shop in an arcade tucked away in the centre of Cardiff, and lo and behold, they had the Mithril Lord of the Rings stuff, and I thought, they look okay. But then I saw the Citadel stuff, and then I saw the White Dwarfs, and then I saw the paint kits, and then I saw the Space Orcs, because they'd just come out. I thought, oh, brilliant, this is exactly what I'm looking for. So I bought a couple of paint sets, a couple of the Citadel Hobbits. I think it was Frodo and Sam maybe, and I went away happy, started painting them, and they were bloody rubbish. So that's where we started. But then I got into Space Orcs, and I got into buying the White Dwarfs. Luckily at that shop they did back issues as well, and that's where I first saw the advert for Marauder and the Dark Elves Army, and I thought, oh, they look nice, It didn't really kick in with the Dark Elves till a couple of years later, but in the meantime, moved from where I was in Porthcawl. I grew up in Porthcawl, and I moved down to Carmarthen with my soon-to-be wife, and we were running a pub in a village, a sleepy village near Carmarthen, and course, didn't have any hobby time at all. But things didn't work out in the pub, and ended up working as a civil servant for the Welsh government at the time, which was awful. Rather forget that one. But that got me back into the hobby again, and then because I was so unhappy in the job, I decided to join the RAF. And my first posting was RAF Scampton, and that was not too far from Nottingham, Mecca. So I always remember it was a Saturday. I had the weekend off from work, so I got on the train from Lincoln to Nottingham, went to the Games Workshop in Nottingham. I remember buying Dark Eldar, I think they were Dark Reapers, you know, the dark armoured ones, and took them back to the barracks, tried painting them, didn't get on with the armour, so binned that, went back to the Space Hawks. That was about the time where all the Pain Boys and stuff like that was coming out, and the Goth Hawks, loads of articles in White Dwarf at that time. But while I was at Lincoln, I got married and my wife moved into the married quarters, and used to pop into Lincoln quite a bit, and I found a store down there that sold all, you know, Games Workshop stuff. It was an independent store, but I always remember on the counter they had baskets on the counter with, you know, the old regiments of renown, you know, the Dwarf Rangers, Ruglets, Armoured Orcs, and I always used to pick up 4 or 5 and take them back. So that's my road into fantasy. And so I think it was about a year or two after that I wasn't really content with just dwarfs and orcs, so that's when I started collecting the Dark Elves then. And I think if we fast forward to issue 144, Mr. Kent Martin, and who was the other guy? I've got it written down here. Christopher Alvord. I don't know how heavily he was involved, but he did an article on a Dark Elf Army, and I thought it was amazing because they brought out that metallic paint set, and he did the whole army in this blue shiny armour, and I thought, yeah, I can do that. So that's when I started buying into that army, and I had about 2 regiments of warriors, crossbows, Dark Riders, and the Witch Elves. And the Witch Elves had these red blades, and I thought they were cool at the time. So I just copied that army relentlessly and added to it. I never really got into the other troop types at the time. You know, you got your assassins and your scouts. Didn't really bother with them, or the Welt Masters. And ended up a few years after that, I ended up selling that army apart from the Dark Riders. I'll just show you a picture. I'll put one up in a minute. And that's the only unit that I kept. Everything else sold on eBay. And I stripped them and I kept them. I don't know why. Probably in subconscious I thought, yeah, I'll paint another army later on down the line. But yeah, so I kept them in a box, as you do. Okay, here's the Dark Riders. I don't think I even used the metallic blue from that set. I think it was enchanted blue, bit of black, bit of gold, bulk and metal, and just mixed it all together. But I thought it turned out alright on the, you know, back then. The thing is, I used it throughout the whole army, I think, apart from the Witch Elves. But at least it tied everything together, and that flock is making me a bit misty-eyed as well. I noticed I didn't bother with command or anything. It's just 10 lances, away we go. Yeah, anyway, let's move on. And then it was up until, well, I'd always really had a thing for Dark Elves anyway, and I went through the various editions. I bought heavily into the 6th edition stuff, and well, the 5th, 4th and 5th. Marauder did those as well, and I've done another army, which I'll probably do another series on that actually. That might be interesting. Might not be. But I bought heavily into each edition, and it was, I don't know, about 3 or 4 years ago I started doing the Marauder stuff again. I'd been collecting them for a few years as well, and the timeline gets a bit fuzzy, but collected them for a few years and then started painting them a few years ago. And this is where we're up to now. So I've got a lot more this time. So we've got the Dark Riders, we've got the Cold Ones, we've got the Warriors, we've got the Regiments, the Assassins, the Scouts. Did I say Witch Elves? Witch Elves. And I've got the Welt Masters with the Hounds and the Hydra as well. And I've done a dragon with one of the heroes was a sorceress, so I stuck that on a dragon because I thought it'd be cool. But Marauder didn't issue a dragon back there, so I had to use I think it was a 6th edition black dragon from Malekith, and goes quite well, I think. So that's the potted history. Hope it wasn't too boring for you. We're going to move on to the first of the regiments, which is the I'm trying to find the catalogue number for it. It was the MB3 Dark Elf Regiment. So this is a unit of 30. The clan pack, as I say, came in a 12. So you got 4 command, 8 troopers. There's 4 different troopers, 2 female, 2 male. Okay, so first up we've got the top line of the champion and the standard leader and musician, but I always remember that the standard bearer was a pain to glue that the hand holding the pole onto the outstretched arm. Was I remember it being horrendous. I didn't really know how to pin back then, so it was just a case of getting the super glue on it and hoping for the best. And then you can see then the slightly better here. I know I'll waffle on about the 4 troopers later on, the male and the female, but you can't really see them in the painted pictures that I'll show later on in my unit. It's better explained here. So, and you can see from the problems with the ranking with I think it's Trooper C, the female with the sword going behind. Obviously that was a problem with a rank behind, because you'd have to move the models out of the way, but I found it easier to put the spacing in between each rank then. And again with Trooper A with the sword going forward, that proved the problem because that's going off at a 45-degree angle. But yeah, we got around it with the spacing, so all good. So let's get on to the some of the videos explaining the unit now. Okay, so this is the first unit of the army. This is the original packaging, the MB3 regiment. I think it came with the 4 command figures, and I think there was 8 troopers in there. And of course you get all the shields in there as well. This wasn't one of my original purchases, but I managed to get this off eBay it was a good few years ago, but it was about 20 quid. You look at the price on it now, $7.50. But thinking back to the day when I first started this army, with after seeing Mr. Kent and his efforts in the White Dwarf, I thought, right, I need to buy this. But I'll say $7.50 was a lot of cash for me back then, and it took a while to save up, but I eventually bought it. But yeah, that seems like such a long time ago now. So the unit is as I say, a solid block of 30. And as you probably know, they're a bit of a pain to rank up, so I had to put spaces in between each rank so I could get them all on. It's no good. This base is no good for gaming. It's purely for display. So I didn't really have to worry about them, ranking up properly, because I knew there's probably slim to anorexic chance of actually playing with the buggers. So I thought, right, let's make a display base. So it was around about the time that the Lord of the Rings scenery box was out, and I thought, yeah, looks a bit elven. We'll use some of that. So obviously put it down the sides, statue in the corner, which I'll show you in a minute. And I thought, yeah, looks pretty good. Now, what are we going to do for the rest of the units? Because the Lord of the Rings box, it disappeared for a few years. It was really rare to get hold of, but thankfully it came back. So we'll take a closer look at some of the figures now. So you can see the different sets of troopers here. You've got the two female ones, which is this one here and that one. And then the male version is here, and the raised sword is there. I don't know what struck me at the time, but they look a bit Greek to me, because the shape of the swords and the hoplite shields. And I thought at the time, they're quite unique, because I really loved the whole line, really. So that's what convinced me to do the army. I decided to try a relatively modern paint scheme on it, using the purples, but then I really struggled with the hair colour, but I went for a dark blue-grey kind of colour, because I thought it went quite well with the purple and the gold. And yeah, it turned out okay. This has to be, without a doubt, the best command unit in the history of Citadel or Marauder Miniatures. Absolutely amazing. So we got the musician to the left, the standard bearer, got your hero, and then your so there's a champion with the raised swords, and then you got the hero on the end. I really love the style of the helmet here. So that screams Roman to me rather than Greek. So I don't know. Seems to be like a mishmash of ancient cultures here, but no, they're lovely stuff. The banner, I actually got that commission painted by Jonas. He's I think he's an ex-Golden Demon winner, and he popped up as I was painting these, actually, and I thought, oh yeah, he's doing some really nice banners, and he was looking for commission work, so I got him to do all the banners for, well, every unit that I've got in the army now, and they really are superb. But my brief was it's got to be like the original artwork of Storm Warriors, where this guy was actually featured in the artwork. I think it was a standard bearer as well, I'm not too sure. But that was the brief. So he worked on a variation of the skull, different guises. I've got one with an eye patch on it to tie it into Marauder Miniatures as well. So that was pretty cool. So this shot will show you the actual spacing that I had to put into place so that I could rank them up, because some of them's got their swords pointed forward, other ones have got the swords pointed backwards. It was a real pain to fit in. But this was actually, I think it was a cardboard cover of an old Next catalogue, and yeah, just laid down the PVA glue, added the sand and the little rocks. Just went from there. The grass tufts are Citadel static grass. I didn't actually think about putting static grass on the on the scenery bits until I went to a visit to Glastonbury and I saw the old abbey there. I saw all these plants and weeds growing on the architecture there, and I thought, yeah, I can do that from a Dark Elf. So as soon as I got back, I covered it up, put the odd tuft here and there, and it looks pretty cool. Yeah, so that's it for that side. That's what I'll show you the different shields that I've done. Again, that was a pain deciding on what I was going to use colour scheme wise. So I ended up using, I think it was Avalanche Sunset with a bit of gold paint in it, and it was a desaturated yellow anyway, and I thought, yeah, that's going to go perfect with a bit of purple. So it's a really, really dark purple, and you got the golden, like non-metallic metal gold to it. And I think and I used that then throughout the army. They've all got the hoplite shields, and they've all got the same colour shields as well, so it just ties everything in nicely. So I think that's it for the first unit. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think. We'll be coming back soon with another couple of units. I'll try and combine ones here and there, so otherwise you're going to have about 20 videos on this subject, and I'm just going to ramble on about colour schemes, but they're all going to be exactly the same. So yeah, we'll try and make it more concise next time, but I hope you enjoyed it. As I said, let's get in touch in the comments below if you liked it, and we'll see you again in the next video. Cheers.